All right, so let's talk about the most important highway of our life. It's the most important highway of our life. And most of us don't understand that it's a tube. You got your front door and you got your back door. Your mouth is the front door, your rectum is the back door. And it's all connected. It's all connected. And the reality is that we know that 90% of the population treat their bodies like garbage cans. It's not because they're trying to be disrespectful. Everybody's programmed and, how can I say this? Corralled into eating crap. Okay? I feel like crap. I feel like crap. Understand something. You can go anywhere and get crap. Yes or no? You can get crap everywhere. You know, the reality is if you really wanted to eat really well, sometimes, you know, Lori and I would find ourselves driving 20 minutes, half an hour, but it's worth it. And guess what? When we were traveling all the time, flying around, if we can't eat good food, we just water fast. Okay? Put our essential oils in, put the black diamond in, okay, take IGF 300,000, and do our sauna amino acids, and guess what? I just ate 100 times better than anybody else. Because guess what? We actually don't need to eat. We need nutrition. We don't need to eat. Okay? Honey, are you full yet? How many times have you heard that one? Are you full yet? What were you trying to do? Fill them up? Okay? What if we said, everyone, come and nourish? No. Everybody, it's time to eat. Okay? All right? And what do they call us? What do they call us? The people that make all the crap, all the garbage, and they crap on us every day. What do they call us? Useless eaters. And guess what? You've all been programmed. Me as well. I'm not there anymore. But I was a useless eater. Okay? I mean, do you know how many people in this room, even though they're at a health course, actually say this? Oh, no, I'll eat anything. Or they'll eat something that they know is going to cause disruption, okay, in their stomach, in their small intestine, in their large intestine. They're going to have gas. They're going to have low back pain, okay. How many people do you know eat and burp after the meal? How many people eat, okay, and at the beginning, doesn't matter what you put in, as long as it turns into glucose, they start to feel good, okay, and then halfway through the meal, they're tired. Hey, honey, listen, after supper, you want to go for a walk? Oh, love to, you know, and meanwhile, oh man, am I ever starving? Yeah, they're absolutely right. You are starving. You're starving for minerals. You're starving for enzymes. You're starving for vitamins. You're starving for electrolytes. You're starving for fatty acids. There, I just said it. You're starving for live foods. Okay? All right? The more you cook, the worse you look. The more you fry, the sooner you die. That's it. That's it. That's the reality. And you know, there's not a person in here, okay, that's suffering from any condition that if they were to do a whole plant-based keto diet, they'd be there. Everybody that's overweight, everybody that's retaining water, everybody that's in pain, everybody here that's suffering is not eating a whole plant-based keto diet. They're not drinking the right kind of water. They're not having good bowel movements. But if you ask them, they're all going to say yes. Okay, the odd person will say no, and the person that says, I'm not having a good bowel movement, they're not even going. But that's not constipation. Constipation is where not everything comes out. The person who says, oh, I'm not even going, that's called impaction. That means that their bowel is totally cemented. Does anybody know this? As we get older, especially the elderly, they lose their appetite. Does anybody know why? Because they have dried fecal matter inside of them. And the body shuts off their appetite because guess what? When they eat, they're throwing it on top of a rock-solid, putrefied manure pile full of worms and fungus, and they'll just end up having to throw it up anyway. So when your child is saying to you, Mommy, I don't want to eat that. You eat what's on your plate. You eat what's on your plate. And you all do it. You eat what's on your plate. And the child goes, but I'm not hungry. You eat. That child is saying I'm constipated, that I need a warm water tummy love enema. But no, we don't even have the intelligence for that. And all I have to do is go back to my grandmother, and she had an enema bag in the bathroom and one under her bed. Why she'd have one there, I don't know, but there was one under her bed. Okay, so, they knew about that. And then guess what? And then I lived with them, and then I came back and lived with them a few years later. The enema bags weren't there anymore. What was there? It was chocolate X-Lax, and I know. I ate half a pack. I didn't know, just chocolate, because it was in the tin foil, and it has to be in tin foil. Why does it have to be in tin foil? Because we have to have aluminum poisoning, because the tin foil would give the aluminum into the X-Lax that were toxic. The only reason why people go to the washroom from any medical product that makes you go to the bowel, have a bowel movement, is because when it goes in, you know what your bowel says? Get this the hell out of there, because we're poisoning this person. So then, as it's trying to get rid of the poison that they give to help you move, you're going to get rid of some stool. Whereas the daily cleansing tea, it cleanses all the detox organs, and that's why you do it morning and night for life. If people were to say to me, I don't have a lot of money, I'd say take the daily cleansing tea and the black gold and just do that morning and night. If you did that, you wouldn't have a tummy. If you did it, you wouldn't have cellulite. If you did it, you wouldn't be overweight. If you did it, you wouldn't be bloated. Do I need to keep going? If you did it, you wouldn't have low back pain. You wouldn't have kidney pain. If you did it, you wouldn't have spinal surgery. That's BS. If you did it, you wouldn't have hip surgery. And everybody says BS. And I'm telling you right now, if there's a surgeon out there, a medical doctor, or anybody else, come on my show, give me a call. My number's 469-861-9454, and prove to the world that I don't know what I'm talking about. 95% of all low back surgery, 95% of all hip surgery is done because you were pooping in your pelvis all your life and you told everybody you had good bowels, because you don't even know what they are. And I would suggest everyone to go to the bhnapp.com and then go look in the Perfect Day Guide, and you'll see what your bowel movements should look like for the age that you are. But there's hardly any mothers that even know that when a child is not feeling good, all you have to do is a warm water tummy love enema, and bingo, they're back. And it doesn't matter. They could have a fever that you think you got to rush them to the hospital with. And why would you rush your kid to the hospital when all you had to do was get the cork out? Oh my God, Mommy, I can't stop throwing up. Oh, did you have a bowel movement? No. But I guarantee you that child will have diarrhea probably tonight or tomorrow morning, because the body will go into crisis. And understand something, does everybody know that diarrhea, is there to save your life? When you get diarrhea, you get it because of chronic constipation, because you're rotting out. So what would you rather, septicemia? Or would you rather diarrhea? How many people said, oh my God, after it wasn't fun, but after I had the diarrhea, I was exhausted, but I felt better. Really? Yeah, because you got rid of the atomic bomb, which was you rotting. And understand something. When a person has bad breath, where's that from? No, it's not from the gut. No, it's not from... Okay, gotta stop now. So first of all, the liver does not create a smell in the mouth. Okay? All right? So what creates a smell in the mouth is a manure pile. I already told you the mouth was the front door, the rectum was the back door, and you'd think you could shine a light in here and then they could just, look around. But no. Okay, because there's valves that shut it off. But the reality is, you ever see a hot air balloon? Well, guess what? Have you seen people? They look like a hot air balloon, don't they? What about everybody that's swollen? You're a hot air balloon with water, because you're trying to bring down the inflammation caused from the infection. And understand something, hot air rises. Not one person has bad breath, that isn't, every one of them are rotting. Everyone with bad breath, they're rotting in their bowel. Everyone with bad breath has worms. Everyone with bad breath has bad bacteria. Everyone with bad breath has fungus growing. Are we done yet? Are we done yet? And what would that be? That would be 90 to 95% of the population has bad breath. All right? Okay. And you know what? How many people here have seen people use mouthwash? Like Lavoris or what are those other mouthwash? Okay, they cause dementia and Alzheimer's. Okay? All right? They destroy all the good in your mouth. Okay, but they give you dementia and Alzheimer's. Just know that. Watch people who do it. Okay? So everything that you buy from a pharmacy that is a skin care, mouth care, any care will tear you apart and destroy you. It's the only industry that, you know, I don't want to, but I will never be, okay, I'd never do it, but if I sold anything that had the same poisons, okay, and I was called myself a health practitioner, they'd shut me down. What they're doing is absolutely illegal, but the reality is this, you know, I don't really believe that people get what they deserve, but the reality is this, all they had to do is read the labels. And then I know they changed the names, but you know what? It's all, that's the game. Planet Earth is a life-threatening, fun-filled adventure, right? For some people. So the reality is that's where bad breath comes from. How about this? Everybody smell under your armpits today. And if your armpits smell, then that means that you've been pooping in your pelvis, and that means that you backed up your lymph system, and you actually have residue of poo in your lymph. Now, when somebody gets a swollen lymph under here, that's just a jam up. You can fix that by a little bit of non-surgical cell sonic regeneration, or you could do it by clapping, okay? And what do they tell you if you've got a lymph that's swollen? Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Oh no, let's just let it get even more toxic, all right? No, don't get rid of the beaver dam. Don't try to break the block so things move. Let's not get circulation. Remember something. Perfect circulation gives you what? Perfect health. Perfect health. There's no such thing as anything but perfect health with perfect circulation. That's it. You'll also have all the energy in the world, and you'll also have all the fun. And understand something. There's not a physical block in your body that wasn't caused because of an emotional block. And most of you will continue to create the same blocks until you decide to change your personality. We'll leave that to the side now. So the emotional block creates a physical block, and the physical block creates the swelling, creates the pain, creates the stiffness, and creates the inflammation. That's it. That's it. And the rest is BS. Just all BS. There are no diseases. There's just you pooping in your pelvis and not perfect circulation. Now, there'll be people out there with PhDs and they think they're so smart. And they'll say, this is fraudulent. How can you even talk like this? It's fraudulent because I'm not part of the majority. Also, they will attack people like me because I'm allowed to do things, but you cannot be going around telling people that that's the Holy Grail. That if you actually looked after yourself from your mouth to your rectum and you understood it was a highway, and that's what we're going to go through right now. We're going to talk about this magical highway. Okay? First of all, let's talk about this. When you take a look at food or drink, do you ask yourself one question? Just one question. Will this nourish me, or will it poison me? That's all you had to do. Is this a high vibrational product that's going to bring light into my body? Electrical energy? Does it have minerals? Does it have fatty acids? Does it have amino acids? Does it have antioxidants? Does it have enzymes? That's it. That's it. And most of you that are in trouble right now, you're going to find out that you don't eat like that. Or if you do eat like that, it means that you have emotional chaos in your life that you do not want to look at. That's it. That's the reality of it. It's not that difficult. It just takes a new personality. Okay, not one that'll walk the beaten path. The one that won't go with the majority. You know, there's not a statistic out there that they have that they could use on me. Why? Why is that? Why is there not one statistic for a guy who's 67 years old can be applied to me. Because I'm not part of the majority. Because I don't eat like them, I don't drink like them, I don't think like them, I don't play like them. You understand? It really sucks to feel like you got to fit in, eh? Because if you feel like you got to fit in, you're going to get done in. Did you hear that? Okay. All right. Okay, so let's talk about food combining. Food combining used to be really big. Like when I was in practice in my 20s and early 30s, everybody knew about food combining. Hardly anybody knows about food combining today. Nobody talks about it. Why? Because everybody's life has become a buffet. The majority of the population are walking, talking garbage cans, right? They'll eat anything. Well, if that's not, if I'm lying, then how can corner stores and supermarkets and fast foods and how can all of this stuff be going on unless somebody's going in there, right? And the reality is, probably a good part of the people that are here are going into corner stores. Anybody that goes into a corner store is going in for poison, right? Anybody that's going through a fast food is looking for poison. And the reality is guess what? We don't know it, but the whole population almost, except for a very small amount of people, are drug addicts. Because the same drugs that, that they prescribe to you are also in your fast food. They're also in your corner store. And everybody's just druggies. We're addicted to it, right? If you're not addicted to energy and life and love and freedom, you're toast. You're toast. You're either feeding the spirit or you're feeding a lower vibrational physical entity. Do you understand? I don't know. When feeling good is more important than anything else, then you'll have your life back. But now you're not going to fit in. Oh, and if you're a woman, you're not going to make all those comfort foods that are making everybody uncomfortable because they have to undo their belt because you're blowing them up. Are you with me yet? Okay. All right. So, fruit should be eaten alone. Some people make a big fruit salad. They'll put subacid in, acid. They'll mix everything. It's a bad mistake. You're better to eat one fruit at a time if you can do it. You're going to feel so much better. Remember something, we're always taught to throw more in, to throw different things in, to create combinations that are going to make us sick, right? People will say, I don't know why I'm feeling like this, but you know what? I do a blender drink every day, and I'll go, so what's in your blender drink? 23 different items. Me, I've got raw, organic, free-range eggs. Not all the time, but when I feel like I need that extra amino boost, I'll have sprouted protein powder, but not all the time. I'll have usually strawberries or blueberries. It's always berries. Berries are the highest in antioxidants, and the darker the color, the more richer they are for your body. Okay? All right? I'll put black gold in there. I'll put my MCT C60 oil in there. Okay? I'll put my Mag Infusion in there. That's my blender drink. I just gave myself the most potent, high vibrational drink. I don't put nuts in. I don't put raisins in. I don't put all this other stuff that people put in. You can overload it. Okay? Yes?
Just wanted to say that non-organic...
Can you hand that mic to her, please? And make sure it's turned on, please, and keep it turned on. Thank you.
That strawberries that look really giant, that are just, I guess, GMO. I don't know what's wrong with them. They are like the worst heavy metals are in them.
Yeah, I get it, but we're not doing that, right? But we're not, but
I'm
when we're
just saying.
talking, I know, but when we're talking here, we're not going to talk about GMOs, we're not going to,
I just want to say that you can only get really tiny, good strawberries.
Yeah, I know, but thank you.
It's like one of the worst.
I know, but we're only going to talk how to eat right now, okay? All right, we got to stay, let's just stay right here, okay? So berries are the best, and we don't have to tell people. People can make a decision or not. If you can't afford or get organic in your area, then what you should be doing is you should be putting baking soda, okay, and using a structured water unit and structure your water. Structured water neutralizes everything that is toxic. People don't get that. They can't conceive it. If you want, you can put baking soda and also put some apple cider vinegar in, but that'll do it. Let it soak. Let it soak in there. All right? It'll do it. All right? And if you have a Biotron light, you put it under the light. Okay? Because that'll do it too. Okay? People don't know this. It's all about, everything is about frequency. Okay? All right. Nadine, did you get your glasses?
Yeah, they're too heavy.
Okay. All right. Do you want to wear mine?
No, good.
Okay, all right.
I'm using a piano weight.
Okay, good for you, love. Okay. So, melons need to be eaten alone, and do not mix them with other melons. One melon. That's a really more of a stricter rule, okay? And for those of you who are trying to detox, but you're having trouble gaining weight, start off and eat watermelon first thing in the morning, so that you don't shut down your detox, but you get lots of water and you get a natural nature's glucose, and it'll help you not to lose weight, but to maintain your weight. Okay? All right? And it really does do that. All right? Never eat 2 proteins at a meal, whether it's lentils and beans. You don't do that. Okay? You better make sure it's earlier in the day and you've got lots of energy, and you better also make sure that you're going to chew your food until it's liquid. Remember something, there's only one rule here. My God, it is so expensive to go out and eat. It is so expensive to go to the grocery store. That's all I hear now. And you know what I say to people? How would you like to eat 1/3 of your food? How do you do that? Everything that you put in your mouth, you chew it until it's a liquid, and then you swallow it. You only need 1/3 of the food now. See, when you take in food and you do that, what happens is enzymes can only digest the surface area. Every time that you eat fast and you got chunks coming down, you digested the outside, and by the time it gets just near the end of the small intestine, your food's rotting. All you had to do was this. Now, I don't know about your household, but when I was growing up, and even in my household, the table and supper and dinner and breakfast was a place that you could capture someone and emotionally kick the shit out of them. The first thing we do is we don't bring up anything stressful at the table. We talk about what we're thankful for. We bless the food. If you don't believe me, talk about something stressful at the table when you're eating. And I guarantee you, you'll be constipated the next day. You'll have gas that night, you won't be able to sleep, and you won't be able to digest your food. Remember something, as soon as you create an emotional issue, when your body wants to digest, you've just moved, 70% of the energy from your core to your arms and your legs, and you're not running anywhere. So it's not here. So, if you can, put something in your mouth and drop the fork. Drop the fork and chew it. And I promise you, you'll be eating half to 1/3. So, have you noticed I'm drinking all day? Okay, I got my C60, I'll sip on that. I'll do my SON formula aminos. I'll do my IGF 300,000. I already did my other nutraceuticals this morning. But I will not eat until tonight. I will not eat anything until tonight. And watch if I waver. And then watch people here, they're almost falling asleep or they look tired, okay? I will not waver. I don't have my afternoon lull. Oh, just grab a Snickers bar or grab something to jack yourself up, right? I won't waver. But that's not just because of my diet, okay? It's because I don't run a riot. It is impossible to make me feel guilty. So understand something. If you're the type of person that it's easy with guilt, you'll never digest anything. You're not in a parasympathetic state. Okay, so let's get back to it. So you cannot eat more than one protein at a meal. Eat 2 different animal product proteins and see how it feels. All right? And you do not mix protein and starch. Your meat and potato man, does it look like he's 16 months pregnant? Really? You know, you see them everywhere now. They're there rubbing their bellies. I don't know if they're waiting for a wish or a genie to pop out of their butt. I'm not sure. But they just sit there rubbing. Do you know why they sit there rubbing? Okay? Not because they're pregnant. I know they believe, some of them believe they could be, but they're not. You know, they're rubbing their belly because they're trying to calm their belly down, because their belly is now made out of bad bacteria, not good bacteria. And bad bacteria give off what's called endotoxin. And endotoxin is very acidic, very infectious, and it's eating them out. Okay? So isn't it great that prostate cancer in the last 4 years has jumped by 1,000%? That's because men are rotting out. Okay? They've now eaten enough rotten food in here to rot out. Because you have to understand the prostate sits just in front of the last 3 inches of the large intestine. And how many men are, oh, listen. I did a video, and I think that video got something like 150,000 views. I was in a bathroom talking about it. I've been here for like, I waited 17 minutes, and there was 4 toilets, and nobody came out. Oh, but there was all that. But nobody came out. There was some with diarrhea, some were grunting, trying to get it out. 17 minutes to have a toilet. So I said after that time, that's it. Every time I go, and now I'm going to do it 1 a day, every time. I'm going to do it 1 a day. Okay, when I got time, because, you know, so I got to use the toilet. I'm not like, I wouldn't poop in an airport. So, you know, well, if I got to poop, I'm going to go poop. So from now on, I said the last time I did that, I said from now on I'm going to go. And we're going to see how long it takes. Think about how dry and how full of mucus and putrefaction is in there that they've got to just grunt and groan and squeeze to try to get that thing out. Now, everybody here says they have great bowel movements, but you only poop with yourself. And you only have great bowel movements compared to how you poop and nothing else. So how good really is it? How good is your diet? It's only as good as the person sitting beside you at the table, eating the same food. Oh, but you know Uncle Harry, he eats way worse than you, so now you're doing great. Meanwhile, you're not looking so good yourself, are you? Am I making this up, or does this sound like real life to you? Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So we know that proteins can be mixed with vegetables. So you could have an animal protein or a vegetable protein, and then you could have a salad and a steamed vegetable. I mean, why do you need more? And then you want to put lots of really great salt on it, or you know what? Everybody, you need salt, 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 salt. Every adult, every child needs 1 teaspoon a day. Every adult needs a tablespoon of salt a day, if you want to keep disease away. Okay, all right? Okay? All right, that's the truth. So So we're going to do the melons alone. We're not going to make fruit salad anymore. We're going to try to be more mono with that. You can mix it if you want. Remember that bananas are very high in natural sugar. They're the meat of fruit. If you're really starving and you think you're going to go for junk, have a banana. It'll shut you down. I get it. It'll shut you down. But you probably wouldn't need the banana if you drank enough water. Most people believe that they're hungry, but they just don't drink enough water. They don't drink enough of the right water. That's it. You don't hydrate. How many people know that in water you have hydrogen? How many people know that hydrogen is the best way to get energy? So the reality is you don't drink enough water, you don't get enough hydrogen. Okay? All right? And if you're, whatever you weigh, you need 3/4 of an ounce of water. And I don't see anybody drinking water here. The odd person takes a sip. But we know that most people are not doing their water. Okay? I've done, I don't know what time it is right now, but I've done 2.5 quarts already today. 2.5 quarts. And you know what? Here's the deal. People say, oh, well, you're going to wash your nutrients out. There's no such thing. But the reality is you do need nutrients. Everything is a lie out there. It's a lie. And we're not going to get nutrients unless we, okay, I'm going to tell you something. We're talking about the digestive tract. We're talking about diet, right? And I'm telling you right now today, I mean, if you lived here where I live in Ixtapa, Zihuatanejo, I know what I'm getting. It's organic and it doesn't have the price tag because it's all organic down there at the farm, unless it was shipped in from the United States. And you know, you can see the stuff that was. And the reality is this, guess what? They can't afford to use herbicides, pesticides. They don't do genocide down here. They haven't caught on to that one yet. Okay? But the reality is here, you could live down here and you wouldn't need as much nutrition. But I'm telling you right now, everybody around the world right now needs to take 30% of their food bill and buying high vibrational nutraceuticals because they're not getting it in the food. Doesn't matter how much you eat. My God, 2% of a supermarket is worthy of eating. 2% of the food. 2% of the food. Let that sink in. And understand something. We already talked about this. Okay? Food only makes up 30% of your energy. The other 70% comes from connecting to your breath. But the main one is the sun. Whenever you can, get naked or get as close to that as possible and sunbathe, but don't burn yourself. I mean, people that actually get a sunburn, I'm serious. What do you think that's a highly intelligent person? Okay, there's no intelligence at all. It's like this. If I go eat a salad, I'm going to stop when I'm satisfied. When I go out in the sun, I'm going to stop before I'm burnt. Now, you're not going to believe this. You could fall asleep in the sun. But you know, people who always burn themselves and they always do it a lot. Does anybody know that that is a self-hate program and they don't even know they're running it? Oh, well, don't you try to kill those things you don't like? Well, that's what people are doing. And then we're going to give the sun a bad name. And then you see all these people squirting all this stuff or spraying carcinogenic suntan blocker when the best suntan blocker, healer, skin is MCTC60, right? Where's the wrinkles? I'm 67. So, everything is about nourishing your body. For God's sakes, don't try to protect your body. Nourish it, right? Think about it. You need protection. You need protection. If you have to use underarm deodorant, then that means that you're rotting out. If you have to use something like breath mints, that means that you're rotting out. You're already not at ease, so you are already a disease. And disease is only when you're out of alignment with spirit. Wouldn't we have a party if we could go into everybody's house here and just see all the crap you have? Jesus. Okay. All right. All right, so Let's say it one more time. We'll eat fruit alone, and we won't make fruit salads. That's not cool. All right? It's not cool. Watermelon definitely needs to be eaten alone. Right? Okay? All right? The other thing is, we're not going to mix starches and proteins together. When you mix a starch and a protein together, guess what they do? They neutralize each other's enzymes. So now it's going to sit in you. And guess what? There's only two things that happen in the digestive tract. What are they? Digestion or rotting. If you want to be really just more like politically correct, you'd say putrefying. But you're not really putrefying, because when you say the word rotting, it really is really quite true, because it smells it. Ooh. Right? Or it smells it from here, whether it's your vagina or your rectum. Because believe it or not, most women are pooping into their vaginal canal. Oh yeah. Things can't stagnate. Every constipated woman is actually pooping into her vaginal canal. Every constipated man is actually pooping into their prostate and bladder. And the women would be pooping into their bladder. Well, guess what? Bladder infections, where do they come from? And then when you go to the doctor, he says, we found E. coli. Where does E. coli come from? Poop. They don't tell you that. It comes from poop. Okay? So that's the main problem from bladder infections. Okay? Because what you got is you've got the last part of your sigmoid, rectum anus right here. Okay? Then what do you got? You got your prostate, and then your bladder kind of sits on top like this. So for men, it's a prostate sandwich. And for women, they've got their uterus and ovaries. Right? The thickening of the uterus is actually it trying to protect itself. Like you would get a callus on your hand. Okay? And then the thinning out of the uterus is it's actually dying. The cysts on the ovaries are actually poo, pus, and bad bacteria in a sac so that you don't have ovarian or uterine cancer. The humpy bumpy, where your pubic bone is, everybody feel that. I'll let you feel mine if you want. Here, feel mine. And I know we're on air, but who cares? You see how flat it is? Yep. There's nothing there. I take daily cleansing tea and black gold every day. I eat a whole plant-based keto diet. I don't have anything, nothing going on. I'm 67, I pee like I'm 16. I don't ever have to worry. And if I go around, I guarantee you we're going to find this. A camel's hump right here on almost everybody. And that's scar tissue and calcification from you pooping in your pelvis. If I go in and I were to give everybody, what's called pelvic clearance with non-surgical, you would go, holy, I feel free for the first time, especially women. They just go, don't they? They go, you've been around, you've seen I'll go in and do it. Who wants to get a pelvic release? Okay, so we'll try to do you and you during the class. Okay, all right? All right? And you're going to see, even though she's slender, she'll have a Humpty Dumpty. Okay? And sure, with her, she's going to be all swollen down here. And that's all the water retention. And she has a Humpty Dumpty, especially the swelling. Because she needs the water to put down the fire that's in here. Infection creates inflammation, inflame, and wherever there's inflammation, we got to put water. So we're going to look a little puffy down here. So, just know this, 3 meals a day, 3 snacks a day, you're killing yourself. If you're moving away from the North American lifestyle, you'll probably need 2 blender drinks a day and maybe 3 meals a day. Why? Tell me why you're going to need the same thing. The 2 snacks and the 3 meals. Why are you going to need them? Oh. Huh? Because you're programmed to do that. You're actually going to come to me even if I tell you to drink the water. But if I got you to, but what would I have to get you to do? I'd have you to do the whole plant-based diet, but then I'd have to get you to do front-end loading on nutraceuticals. Because everybody in North America that says they have a good diet are nutritionally deficient to the point of big trouble right now. Enzyme deficient, mineral deficient, fatty acid deficient, and amino acid deficient. Almost everybody. That's why I said you got to take 30% of what you spend at the grocery store and do the nutraceuticals. And you're going to go, I don't like taking supplements. They're not supplements. We're actually giving you what was stolen from our food. Does anybody not notice there's a human harvest going on? Does anybody, I mean, if you were alive 50 years ago, which I was, okay, all right? You could go to any beach and not see one beached whale. Now you go and you're outnumbered. When I go to the beach, I'm scared I'm going to be eaten. If I go to the supermarket, I'm scared I'm going to be eaten. So I have to hide out in the bush. You know what happens? And you know, you can say, why is he so sarcastic? I'm not being sarcastic. I want to make this fun while I'm trying to teach you something that we are eating ourselves to death and we don't give a shit. How many people have jobs that they're poisoning their brothers and sisters and they're not even awake to it? For God's sakes. I did a Coca-Cola thing in the airport. It got 2 million views. And guess what? 80% were good. The rest of the people wanted to kill me, wanted to know where I lived. You think I'm kidding? What will you do being an addict? Huh? Guess what? I've got a whole bunch of kids staying and people visiting. And this morning I get up and there's a package of Oreo cookies. A small one from the store. And the reality is what people don't understand is this. Go take a look at everything and take a picture of the Oreo cookie. You've got the Mason, Sigma, you've got the One World Order, you've got everything on there. And does anybody know why? Because they put all of their stuff here because that cookie, okay, is radiation. That cookie is the most poisonous thing that you can eat, that Oreo cookie. And I have a video coming out and I go through all the different symbols on an Oreo cookie. And that'll be coming out probably tomorrow, the next day. Okay?
Did you know that before you saw it?
So you saw what?
Before the Oreo, did you actually know about the symbols on the Oreo, or did you just notice it?
Oh, I didn't notice it. And I'm not that awake. No, I was told. You know, you got people that people would say are conspiracy theorists that actually do their homework and they're actually detectives and they actually have intelligence up here and they go in and that's how they know. But then when I looked at it, well, when I first heard it, I thought, this is so ridiculous. And I looked at it and went, oh my God. So when you watch this video, you're just going to go, yeah, okay. You know, there can be a coincidence and then it's not, it's a coincidinky. Let me tell you. Yeah. But you got to understand, you know, like I told you, people are drug addicts, okay? I don't take any drugs. Oh, yes, you do. Oh, yes, you do. Do you shop at a supermarket? You're a drug addict. You shop at Costco? You're a drug addict. Okay? Anyways, let's get away from that. Let's talk about something positive like stinky people. Okay? No, I'm kidding. So just understand something, that every growth that a person has, whether it's a pimple or a tumor, is actually just a storage shed to actually store the poisons or you'd be dead. I don't like this tumor. Well, guess what? If you didn't have that tumor, you'd be dead already. Somewhere you have the issues in your tissues. When I say issues in your tissues, they're emotional and they become physical. Remember something. If you hate your life, are you eating a beautiful salad? No, you're not. You might make a salad because you're just craving it. You got to have it because you're dying. But you're just going to go right back into the poison. Until you love yourself unconditionally and you no longer have to forgive yourself or forgive others, but you protect your vibration in your life, you're just going to go up and down, back and forth, and drive everybody crazy. Meaning yourself. Okay, let's do this. So, people call this the brain. Here's the first brain. That's the real brain. Did you know that your heart has 40,000 brain-like cells? Did you know that your heart and your bowel both send 9 messages to the brain each, where it will only send one back to the heart and the bowel? This here, I want to change this because this should have been actually first brain, second brain, third brain. And that's the God's truth. It's not taught. And you know, that's why I told you about that thing that they did. They did this big report at McGill University where they got a nurse to read my books and then say, oh, here's a quack that just rewrote science. Meanwhile, everything I teach is everything that was 100,000 years ago. And the reality is the medical system has only been around for what? 125 years. Okay? They're not even out of their diapers yet. And they never will be out of their diapers. Okay? They're still crapping themselves, and they'll do that as long as you don't come to somebody with unconditional love and want to teach them how to love their body, heal their body, feed their body. And you can say, Daryl, quit picking on the medical system. Well, guess what? Okay? All right? 500,000 people in the United States, okay? They're the leading cause of death in the United States right now. Did you get that? How do you get away with that? All right. So anyways, like I said, this is your first brain, second brain, third brain. We will change that. Your heart has 40,000 brain-like cells in it. Oh, and guess what? The heart was measured to see how far the vibration goes out. They don't know how far it goes, but with their testing equipment, all they could do was up to, I think it was 37 feet. Okay, they don't have the equipment to test it any further. It's not sensitive enough. We are all attached by our hearts. Okay? All right. Process through your heart, not through your third brain. Otherwise, they call it a brain. The brain is, what is the brain? It's a computer and it's a chemist. It's a computer and a chemist. So information goes into the computer from the body, and that would be from your what? Emotion, energy and motion. We'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll go into it in detail. So information comes to the brain, and if the information was based on unconditional love and caring, you're dumping dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. It's called the dose. And you should be dosing every second. That's why you smile. That's why you connect to your breath. Okay? And if the information is coming, and it's coming on a negative, all right, to the brain, you're dumping the hack. Histamine, adrenaline, and cortisol. How do you like running about 2 pH in the body? You're supposed to be above 7. Now you're running chemicals that are around 2 pH. Now, if you continually do that, you don't think you're going to bring your pH down, which brings your oxygen down? Now you have an oxygen deficit. You have a mineral deficit because of the acidity burns out the alkaline minerals, yes or no? And that's why people that are on fire, we need to front end load them with like Beyond Ormus Minerals, magnesium spray topically, the Perfect Day Multi. I've got people taking 6 a day. I've got people doing 120 drops a day of the Beyond Dormus minerals, and I tell them to spray as often as they can think because they have such a deficit that the bank is recalling all their Visa cards because they've never made any payments. The only reason why you're sick is because you're mineral deficient, amino acid deficient, fatty acid deficient, enzyme deficient. There it is. End of story. 4 pillars. Take it or leave it. Oh, no, I have a special disease. Well, there's no special diseases. They just wanted you to feel special. So they gave you your own. There's no special diseases. Okay? Dis-ease means you're out of ease, you're out of alignment. That's it. Oh, no. I've got something that they can't cure. I'm going to have to live with this for life. Okay, now you're really special. That's really good. And guess what? Boy, can you tell me the drug? I will probably invest into it. When you go to a doctor and you've got water retention, what do? Yeah, what are those pills? No, it's patented salt. Why didn't you ask them? And guess what? Now you don't have any minerals in it. It's patented salt that is deficient. So guess what it does? It'll lead to kidney disease. All you had to do is just go home and get some Redmond salt or some Celtic salt, and how about just a balanced diet? Would you say that there's a big majority of the population that are always in an emergency? And when something happens, they react and then they attack their body? How about the majority of the population? How about I can tell you the people in here that are doing it? You can see it. Okay. All right. So here we go. So your mouth. As soon as you think about food, your mouth waters. As soon as you smell food, why do you think Kentucky Fried Chicken has fans that blow all the smell out onto the sidewalk? Right? But guess what? You get to a certain point in your life when your vibration changes and you smell the Kentucky Fried Chicken, you want to puke. Right? Remember something. You attract what you are. Depends where your vibration is. Okay. So as soon as I think about food, my mouth waters. Well, it would be really good if I started chewing my food until it was a liquid. You know, the people that actually survived the concentration camps and in the war, they would only get a little food like this a day. And guess what they do? They'd keep it in their mouth and let the saliva tenderize it. They wouldn't even chew it. That was very difficult because you want to and those are the people that passed on, are the people that gulped their food down. They didn't survive. The people that survived would actually keep it in their mouth for like a half an hour to 40 minutes just to tenderize it. And they just kept their head a little forward so they didn't end up swallowing it. First they tenderized it, and then they chewed it, and they chewed it so much there was nothing to swallow. How do you make people well? You give them live foods that are packed full of minerals first. That's the main thing. And you give them live foods, and guess what? You have these foods. Why live foods? Well, because how much trapped light is in a dead animal? I forget it. I don't want to be wrong here, but I think, when you pass on, I think it's 27 grams. There it is. 27 grams you weigh lighter. That's how much the spirit is. And we're not talking about you just peed or pooed yourself. You are, I think it's 27 grams lighter. Okay, I'll give you the exact number so I'm not wrong, but I know I'm close. I think it's 27 grams lighter, and this was a study done. Okay? So when a person was just about to pass on, they actually did a study, and they put them on a scale. Is it okay if we put you on a scale? You're leaving. Okay? And that's what their study was. And that's how they study people. And everybody was the same amount. So I apologize if I'm wrong and people are going to go, see, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Yes, I do. Okay, so we'll call it 27 until I look at my notes. Okay? I don't think it was 31.
Okay.
No, it was in the 20s, and it was high. Okay? But we'll see. But it could be 31. It doesn't matter the number. I'm trying to tell you something. So understand, even though it was only 27 grams, you need to feed your spirit. And how do you feed your spirit? With electricity and light. Say it, electricity and light. That's right. Only live foods has electricity and light.
Right.
Okay, and guess what? Do you know how long it took me? It took me 15 years to find the highest electrolyte mineral product on the planet. And we have it. And it's the Beyond Ormus Minerals. There's nothing that gives a higher electrical charge than our product in the way of minerals. So when you see mothers giving their kids Gatorade, they just gave them carcinogenic liquid all the way. And all just white sugar, radiated white sugar. That's what it is. See, and then these people that actually created the poison, that actually marketed it to us, go, they don't deserve to live. They're so stupid. You need to learn to trust in yourself and no one else. Don't trust in me either. Verify what I'm sharing with you. Okay? Verify what I'm sharing with you. Nobody can be authority over you ever again. Did you get that? Look at all the times that you loved someone and you knew that they were wrong and you just agreed with them. How's that working for you? You think about that. Or, I love him so much, I'm just going to let him lie his ass off. Okay, thanks. Okay, how desperate are you? Oh, I hope you don't mind. This is what we made for supper. Oh yeah, I eat anything. How many people say that? What do you think the average is? 95% of the population will eat anything. 95% of the population will eat anything. And then we're wondering why they're trying to harvest us. Holy smoly. Okay, I'm not trying to put anybody down. I'm trying to tell you we just need to wake up, and they can't do this to us anymore. Okay? You all deserve to have a beautiful life. Don't trust anyone. Trust in yourself. Trust in your heart. Okay. So we're gonna chew our food until it's what? Thank you. And then when we drink, what are we gonna do with that?
Chew.
We're gonna chew our liquids and we're gonna drink our solids. Did you get it? Okay. All right. Okay. And we're gonna put the what down every time we take a mouthful? Fork. The fork. We're gonna put it down, or the spoon. We're gonna put it down. Okay. All right. Then we're gonna swallow it, and then it's gonna come down to our stomach. Now you see these wrinkles in here? Those are called rugae. Try to picture, the washing machine that used to go whoosh, 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 whoosh. Okay, well this one's not trying to wash your food, it's just trying to mix all the pepsin, all the enzymes, and the hydrochloric acid into your food. Okay? All right? So hopefully your food combined properly, hopefully you chewed the food, and hopefully you blessed every bite. And you know what? Some people go, I bought the food, why should I bless it? Well, guess what? There's two reasons. You should always bless it. Somebody grew it for you. Hopefully if it's good food. But if they didn't grow it, they laboratory it. It's made in a lab. But the reality is even if you take lab food and you bless it, it'll heal you better. Okay? Everything is about frequency. Everything is about vibration. And yeah. It doesn't matter how my day goes. I exist. I thrive today. I didn't wimp out. I didn't complain. I didn't explain. I calmed myself down and I strategized. Because that's what they're doing, aren't they? They've been doing it all the time. Even though these people that think they can control the world, they don't like each other, but they know they have to strategize together. Don't they? And they're doing a crackerjack job, aren't they? Aren't they? I give them 10 out of 10. Yeah, they're rocking it. I mean, there's 8 billion of us, and we just can't get our act together. Okay. All right. So come down to your stomach, and then it's going to sit here, and then it's going to bathe in that. Okay. And then you can see here I show a gastric ulcer. Well, guess what? That's going to happen when you swallow BS. You know? How many times has somebody said something to you, and you didn't say something, right? And you know it was a lie. You know that they were disrespecting you, and you swallowed that. Well, that's part of the reason that this happens. But ulcers are caused because of bad bacteria. So, you know, when you are negative in a negative way and you're eating, you could be eating organic food and it's still going to rot inside of you. Do you actually think that you could eat a high vibrational food and be in a low negative vibrational state and you didn't change the vibration of the food? You made it just as poison as if it was made by the tobacco industry, which you do know the tobacco industry owns all food corporations now. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, so now we're going to swallow it, and then it's going to get bathed, and it's going to get broken down, and then it's going to come into the small intestine. Okay? All right? When it comes into the small intestine, we're talking about approximately 22 feet. In your small intestine, you've got these little villi like called hairs. They don't grow back. When you lose those hairs, the picking up of the nutrients gets worse, but don't worry. You're never to the point that you're in desperate trouble unless you've been trying to kill yourself. Like, people, they may not like this, but I've never met and I'm not saying that everyone, I'm just saying, you do know that there's a certain personality that goes with every disease. If you don't know that, you don't know what health is. And I will tell you that every person I ever met with a chronic case of Crohn's had a really deep self-hate for themselves and they didn't even realize it. Loathing. Okay. All right, so it's going to come into the small intestine, and that's where you're going to pick up your nutrients. It's still a liquid all the way through, and then it's going to come down here to the cecum. Okay? All right? Let's open up for questions. Talk to me about people that maybe in your family, or talk to me about yourself. And if you have no questions, then I'm not sure what we're doing. Please, love.
Okay, so that's exactly where my intestines twisted.
No, you said your intestines were twisted right here.
They told me it was a cecum.
That's right. And I don't believe that they're lying. And if your intestines are twisted at the cecum, that means that the ileocecal valve, which comes from the small intestine to the large intestine, that means it's open. And that means that the worms can crawl back through here. And understand something. Ever hear of SIBO? SIBO, small intestine, bacterial overgrowth. But do you know what it really is? Because you don't get that. You know what you get? You get small intestine, you get large intestine back up, and the valves open, and fecal waste goes back in, and worms go back in. See, most people, not most, a large amount of people actually have a nest of worms here. This is where you find most of the worms, in the cecum. It's just like a nest, isn't it? Yeah, they lay right at the bottom here. Okay? All right? And what happens is, when you're healthy, when you're really healthy, you can eat something, and 20 minutes later, you'll have a bowel movement. Because when you eat something and you swallow, that triggers a reflex. That reflex goes all the way down through the stomach and triggers all the way down and comes around and you get a bowel movement. Anybody ever have a baby or see a baby? A baby will eat when it's brand new and have a bowel movement 10 to 20 minutes later. And guess what? You want to know something? You would too, but you got screwed over. What happened? You went to school. and you are told to hold on to your poo and your pee, and you cannot go until recess or lunch, and they disrespected one of the most important things of nature. Look, at school is a place for you to be disrespected and to have your spirit broken. That's it. That's it. Don't like school, don't care about school. There was not one time when my kids came home and I was upset because they failed. I said, well, at least you should try to pass. I mean, if you can pass the things that you don't even like, just think how you can be successful with the things you do. So let's do this. But guess what? I was still an ass. My kids should have never went to school, even if they were going to cry and scream, oh, my friends, my friend. I should never have done it. I should have never let my kids go to school. And you know what? People say there's no way, we can't afford it, we can't do this. Well, that's not true. You get together with a community, okay? You work it out. You work it out. It's so valuable to not have your kids go to school. So does anybody know why the average amount of years we go to school is 12? Because it took, they did a study, and it took 12 years to totally program a human being, okay, to not be a spirit being anymore. There you go. So none of this is your fault. Quit beating up on yourself. Show compassion for yourself and everybody else. When I tell you that I don't want to be around people that are low vibrational and destructive, I'm not telling you I'm judging them and I'm better than them. I'm telling you I've learned my lesson and I have to protect my vibration. If you protect your vibration, you will not ever be not at ease to have a disease. See, but the problem is, and I'll tell you right now, I mean, Genevieve's here. When stuff would happen and I wouldn't be all suffering and moaning and groaning, you know what my family said? You're heartless. You're cold-hearted. And guess what? I held the line. And I felt right in my heart, but I wasn't going to fall for it and become a victim. I wasn't going to become the disease. I was going to hold the line. My children still want to do the drama trauma, and I have to walk away, because if they decided that this situation is going to be 20 minutes, I can take 2 minutes, and if I can't help them get on a different track, I bail. And then I'm the disrespectful, cold-hearted son of a bee. And that doesn't stand for brother. Okay? But the reality is I'm not going back there. Yes?
Oh.
Mike, can you...
No. The only thing I was saying about school, I'm a Montessori. That's a really...
Montessori is a really good school if you can find a really good Montessori school. Okay? No, I'm going to tell you. There are some Montessori schools that are not that good. Okay? I'm going to tell you something. People are not all bad. And people are not all good. And people are not bad, and they're not good. They either have good beliefs or they have bad beliefs. Okay? All right? I did the school thing. All right? Yeah. I almost lost one of my daughters at that school thing. Okay? Yeah. So I'll make it real short and sweet. She fell in love with a guy who's 2 years older, an MDA, come on, help me out, ecstasy dealer. Okay? And he's the actual nephew of the actual principal and the godfather. His godfather. So then, you know, I didn't even know it, but she was already hooked. And we don't need to tell the rest of the story. It's awful. Okay? And he was an ex-RCMP guy. So he tried to get the RCMP to come after me, to block me. And then he got my daughter to move in like 2 weeks before she was 14. And it was going to take 6 weeks to do the paperwork to get her back home. And in Canada, I didn't know at the time that when you're 14, you can have consensual sex and live anywhere you want as long as nobody's harming you. So I couldn't get her back home. And then they said that she could live with them. And then 6 months later, they kicked her out on the street. and then she was on the street because now she's a druggie, and she was out there for 4 years. Are we done yet? You check out every school. There's no such thing as a good school. There's good people that maybe run a school. All right? I want to make that perfectly clear. So I'm not against it. I'm just trying to tell you. You can't put the same sticker on everything. Buyer beware, or buyer be dead. All right? And I'm still telling you that if you're going to send your kids to school, that would be the school. But you make sure you check out everybody in that school. And you listen to your kids when they come home. You listen to their stories. And when they tell you something and you smell a little smoke, you go look for fire. Thank you. Okay? All right. You mean, like, will this be like the last thing for a minute? Or
What's important?
look, you don't have to say one last thing. Never. There's going to be more things. And there better be more things. Just because nobody else is asking questions doesn't make them smart. Okay? I make
I
okay.
asked a lot of questions.
It's okay.
Okay, so they also told me on the
Can you pick the mic up so everybody can hear you? Can somebody give it to her?
Also in the hospital, the good hospital, supposedly.
There is no good hospital.
I know,
Yeah,
but
okay,
I
all
had
right,
to make
okay.
a choice
You know
between
what
the
people do?
jungle
They'll call me
hospital
up and
and the
they'll
other
go,
one.
we're getting the best care.
No,
Okay?
but I had
Because
no
guess what?
choice.
It's the most expensive and it's the most advertised. All right, go ahead.
Okay. I just want to know if this is a real thing or what it is, because I've never heard of it before. He told me that I also have extra long
Bowel.
small intestines.
Well, okay, first of all,
How could you be born with extra, I mean, a tiny person?
I don't think you have an extra long small intestine. You can have an extra large one. Anybody here that has a belly, this is falling down and it's lost its tone, and that's what your belly is. Okay? All right? You know, this is true, and I'm not making fun of the person. I was like, oh, I couldn't believe it. I saw a guy, probably weighed about maybe 325, 40, and he had a t-shirt on to here. And you know, when you look at something, you take a double take. It looked like an elephant's snout. It was actually his large intestine, and he had pulled the skin, and the thing had fallen right out, and it was hanging down this far. And you could see it. It looked like an elephant's snout.
I've seen this.
Oh. And you know what? I guarantee you he's been going to all kinds of doctors, and nobody's even helping him. Not helping him. Okay.
So you don't think that's true?
I don't think you have a... First of all, it's usually... You see all these here?
Yeah.
These are muscles.
Yeah.
You see these? They're called hostras, but it's actually a muscle. See that? Mm-hmm. That's a hostra in the bowel, which is like a muscle. See these?
Yeah.
This contracts, then that contracts. And they go like this, the domino effect of contracting.
Right.
And then boop. No, poop, not boop. So, but as far as, guess what? And it might be sluggish, lacking tone. So you might have heard it, you know, the small intestine can lack tone. So then it lays in there like this, right? And understand, if you lack energy and it goes on for a long time, then you've lost your tone in your intestines.
And then it gets a little worse. They said that this is unbelievable. They said that I had diverticulitis. Now, seeing the diagram over
Well,
here,
there's the diverticulitis.
is
right
it
here.
always on that side?
No, it can be
It can
anywhere.
be anywhere.
That's the scoop on poop. Wherever it gets stuck in the hostras,
Right.
if the poop gets stuck in the hostras, it creates bad bacteria. We talked about E. coli, and the bad bacteria give off a gas, and guess what? That inflames the lining. Are you with me so far? Mm-hmm. And let's say the poop stuck was that big, a
Right.
chunk like that. So that's going to be eating away at the lining and thinning it out. And then eventually, it's going to pop out like a bulge on a tire. And guess what, guys? You can get rid of, okay, diverticulitis is inflammation of the diverticulum. Diverticulosis is the condition. Diverticuli means one. And understand, diverticulitis means inflammation of these little things that pop out. And guess what? You know how long it takes? Black gold, daily cleansing tea, 6 weeks, 3 months, all healed. Polyps, all healed. Okay? Fissure, all healed. Fistula, all healed. Do you understand? What time is it? 12 o'clock. Understand something. They'll go in and they'll say, oh, you've got a polyp, which is basically a wart inside your bowel because you've rotted out that much. You've grown the wart. And that shows that you've backed up onto your liver so bad. Okay? All right? Oh, and I do want to say this for everybody who has children, that if you have any children that drink any fruit juice, you've created a fatty liver as if they're an alcoholic. Okay? All right? So, you know those juice things we give children? Well, they're actually were made, and the fruit juice was marketed so much because they can't create alcoholics that young. Parents might be upset with that. So they actually created that fruit juice. Well, if you give a child a box of that fruit juice every day for school, they've got a fatty liver. And once they stop that fruit juice, because of the fatty liver and because of the high sugar content in it, it's so high, okay, that they will be an alcoholic. And they'll have to fight that. Oh, yeah. Well, they'll be an alcoholic. They already are. But they don't know it yet. It's just that when they become that legal age, they'll just keep going with it. Okay? And you have to understand, a kiddie meal is to create alcoholics and drug addicts, because if you actually looked what a kiddie meal is made out of, it's made out of flour and sugar and added chemicals. Okay? Remember something. Only 30, depending on who you buy it from, 30 to 50% of a chicken chicken nugget is actually chicken. And the chicken, 50% of that, the rest is all filler poison. Okay, you got that? Cement and rubber. Okay? And the other part of that is chickens that are so loaded up with antibiotics and hormones. That's why you'll see the countries that allow a lot of hormones and antibiotics, children have breasts and men have breasts. You can walk on, you know, you've got men that are overweight, and you can tell they're overweight, so you have extra fat. Then you see men that you're going, wow, you know, the lady looks and goes, wow, I wish I had breasts like that. Yeah. Not. I'm kidding. I exaggerate something to get a point across. So this has been going on since the beginning of time. It's just that nobody realizes that we've entered the great harvest, and the harvest is humans. Before they were always doing it. But if you notice something now, everybody, am I right or wrong? They'll lie to your face, and they're telling you, they're coming for you, and they don't even care. They don't hide it anymore, do they? And do you know why? COVID actually showed them that it's going to be an easy takedown. So I believe that 70% of the population will be taken down, and 30% will rise. Will rise. And I want to be wrong. I want to see 99% to 100. And I want to be wrong. And I want somebody to tell me I'm wrong. But you know what? Okay? Let's see, first of all, people that say that their whole life emotional coaches actually teach it. You know, you didn't just get a diploma somewhere. And let's see people that say that they're natural health practitioners or their health practitioners actually teach it. Let's break for lunch, okay? I've got my chicken McNuggets are probably getting cold, and then we'll come back here at 1 o'clock, and everybody, I'd like you to, if you can be back by 10:02, then we'll meet in the treatment room, and we'll go through the cardio med bed and what circulation is all about. You're going to learn a lot, even if you never want to purchase a cardio med bed, or you never want to go on a cardio med bed. What you're going to learn about circulation. Understand something. Does anybody have poor circulation somewhere? Yeah. Kiss your ass goodbye. Okay, let's go to lunch. Okay? You need to get your circulation back. Remember something, everybody. Remember this? The sports injury, okay, all right? The sports injury that you had when you were younger is going to come and bite you. Okay, Gary, move over to the side. All right, it's going to come and bite you. The place where you have no circulation, that's a calcification scar tissue block. And guess what? I'll prove it to you. We can get rid of it if you want while you're here. With cell-sonic regeneration, non-surgical, cardio med bed, nutraceuticals, clapping. We're going to do all this stuff. Are we going to do bone density? You know what? I will tell Cynthia to come back, and when I'm over here talking, you guys can go over and get your bone density checked, okay? All right? Okay, let's go for lunch. Thanks for joining us. 3, 2, 1, we got this. How was that?
Amazing.
Huh?